everyone. My name is Kate Johans, and it's my honor to serve as ATPE's Marketing and Engagement Director. I'm here today with Monty Exter, our Governmental Relations Director, and we're going to discuss some of the exciting changes coming to our in-person advocacy during the upcoming legislative session. And whether you're able to join us at the Capitol or not, there's something for every ATPE member with this new member benefit that we're about to announce. So, Monty, without further ado, let's talk about the ATPE Member Advocate Program.
Absolutely. Well, you've already announced the first thing, right? Which is the new name. We are here to launch the ATPE Member Advocate Program, or ATPE-MAP. The MAP program is going to replace ATP at the Capitol, formerly known as Lobby Day. And as you can see on the slide here, that really is broken down into two parts. We used to have a day of professional development and then a day where we visited the Capitol. And we will still have professional development and Capitol visits. They're just going to work a little bit differently this year.
So, Monty, what was the impact or kind of catalyst for this change?
Yeah, so in the past, we've had one big program that we did during session where we brought people in, but again, only once during the session. It tended to be right at the beginning of session when there wasn't as much going on. Also, funny enough, educators are expected to be in their classrooms during the week. So that made it really difficult for us to schedule having hundreds of educators in Austin all at the same time during the middle of the week, and particularly at the beginning of session, but really all throughout session. Mondays, particularly earlier on Mondays, are not a very good day to catch your legislator, and there's not as much going on up at the Capitol. So bringing smaller groups up to the Capitol during the middle of the week, probably on Tuesdays, is going to allow those members to have more one-on-one activity with lawmakers, including their own lawmaker. In addition to that is a long time historical precedent that public education hearings happen on Tuesdays. So we're hoping to be able to give some of these folks an opportunity to testify on some of the bills that should be heard on Tuesdays during this upcoming session as well. It'll also give the lobby team the ability to be a little bit more focused on making sure that the session is successful for you during those early weeks of session, as opposed to planning a giant sort of mini convention, which is what we used to do in the past.
True. And while we did have some really great pictures, I'm thinking of the pictures of everyone on the stairway at the Capitol. I think that this is going to give us more actual strategic impact in terms of affecting legislation during visits to specific lawmakers. Well, we've kind of talked about the differences here in the visits. What about the differences in the professional development? Because, of course, the first part of ATPE at the Capitol or Lobby Day in the years before that was kind of a single day of political involvement training. What's it going to look like under ATPE-MAP?
Absolutely. So I'm actually super excited about this part of the program. As you mentioned, it was a single day in the past. It was entirely sit and get, and you had to be physically present in order to be able to benefit from it. What we're going to do now is we're going to utilize ATPE's new professional learning portal. We're going to deliver a much more robust program out, and we're going to make it available to all ATPE members as opposed to just those who can come into Austin. So you can see on this slide how that sort of breaks down in terms of our professional development. We're breaking it down into 3 primary modules and then sort of an extra bonus module at the end. And if you do any 2 really of the modules, you're going to be able to also earn a microcredential in advocacy. So let's walk through this a little bit. You can see on the professional development slide, we start off with Intro to Advocacy. You're going to be able to get an hour's worth of professional development credit for that intro portion, and that's really going to lay your groundwork for those folks who maybe need a little bit of a refresher, or maybe who have never done advocacy at all in the past but are really interested in it. And that's going to be available again to all ATPE members, not just folks who want to come to Capitol visits. After you've completed that introductory module, you will then have an opportunity to either do the local advocacy microcredential or the state advocacy microcredential. Or if you're a real go-getter, you can certainly do both. Probably you'll want to pick one at a time. So on the local advocacy microcredential, we're really going to focus in on some things that we've not had an opportunity to do in the past, how to advocate with your school board, how to talk to folks on your campus, in your district, how to engage with local organizations that are pro-public education for your local advocacy efforts. And also, Kate herself is going to do a little bit of local media training so that you have a better understanding about how to speak to the local news stations and local newspapers about some of those issues that you're trying to advocate on. On the other side of the chart, we've got the state advocacy microcredential. That's going to be more traditionally what you would have learned had you come to Lobby Day. All about the state legislature, both the House and the Senate, how the state leadership works, how agencies work, how testifying works, how a bill becomes a bill, some tips and tricks for office visits, all kinds of things around state level advocacy. Then you can see off to the side, right, that Capitol expeditions in a different color. So folks who do the intro to advocacy and the state advocacy micro-credential will be eligible to come to one of our Capitol expeditions. And those are those small group settings that we were talking about previously, where we bring in somewhere between 8 to 10 people at a time every other week throughout session. Now, you'll also notice underneath local advocacy and state advocacy, we've got a master advocacy micro-credential. So those first three modules really are more about taking in information that we give out. The master advocacy microcredential is really about putting that into action. So it is about taking the knowledge that you've gained and going and doing something with it, whether that be getting involved at the local level. Maybe you go and testify at a school board hearing, or you join your CAC and attend a meeting there, or you join the district version of the CAC and attend meetings there. Alternately, on the state side, it could be that you participate in some advocacy campaigns through Advocacy Central, an ATPE tool on the website, or it could be that you come and do a Capitol expedition. There are a variety of ways that you can put advocacy into practice, but doing that and giving us a reflection on it is going to earn you some additional CPE credit and that master advocacy micro-credential.
I'm really excited about the local advocacy micro-credential. Obviously, it is always thrilling to go to the state capitol and visit lawmakers, but I think more and more, so much is happening at that local level, particularly with districts of innovation. And so the more we can do to support our members and give them confidence and feel ready to advocate at their school board with their district, that's great. And I'm really excited about that. Let's,
Absolutely.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about these capital expeditions and what that experience will be like.
Sure. So this is kind of an example of a, day in the life of somebody doing a Capitol expedition. You can see on here that pre-expedition, there's a little bit of a checklist. Again, you want to complete that ATPE-MAP professional development, the state track. Then as soon as we can see that you've completed that, we're going to send you out, an interest form asking you if you would like to do a Capitol expedition and to let us know. Once you get that sent back in and we have the availability here in office to start grouping people up together, we'll start inviting people to those. So you may receive an invitation to come to a Capitol expedition. Then once we get to the actual expedition, it's going to kind of flow like this. Folks are going to come in on Monday afternoon, early Monday evening. We are going to provide accommodations for you guys. We're also going to help provide reimbursement for travel. My goal is that this be a fun and easy experience where the cost is really on us, ATPE, because we're asking you to volunteer your time. So you're going to arrive, check in at the location that we've already got for you guys, which is out near the domain. It's actually a fantastic location. They've just renovated it. It's gorgeous and it has free breakfast.
Oh, even better.
So I know, right? Check in. You're going to have dinner with the rest of the folks who are taking the expedition with you, and also either one of your ATPE state lobbyists or perhaps Shannon, the executive director, will come and have dinner with a couple of our groups. And then you're gonna, head off to bed. The next morning, you'll get up, have breakfast at the hotel, check out if that is going to be applicable to you, and we'll get back to that in just a minute. Then you're going to travel up to the ATPE GR office, and we'll probably arrange travel for you guys as well. So the GR office is actually located right across the lawn from the state capitol. So we'll meet here, have a little powwow, and then we'll get you straight over into the state capitol. You'll start having meetings throughout the day. You'll be able to meet with your own legislators. You'll also meet with some other hand-selected legislators about legislation that's kind of bubbling up right at that point in time when you're here, since we'll be able to be a little more targeted. Also, if there's a public education hearing that day, then your guide on the expedition, again, probably one of the ATPE lobbyists, will help anybody that wants to register to testify on a bill that day to get registered. The nice thing will be you won't have to sit in the hearing room all day long because there will be an ATPE lobbyist also monitoring the hearing. So you can go on about your Capitol visits, and when we get to time for the public testimony for your bill, we will make sure that you get back to the testimony room, the hearing room, and are able to do that without spending your whole day there. After that, we'll have a little bit of a debrief. Oftentimes lawmakers will say things to you guys as constituents that they would never say to us. And so we'll have a little bit of a debrief on that. And then one of two things will happen. Either you will head out back home if it's relatively early or you need to be back by the next day. Or if you're here a little bit later and you had the availability to take that next morning off, then you'll head back to the hotel and you can spend the night again on us and head out Wednesday morning so that you're not having to head back home super late. Then post-expedition, probably a couple of weeks after you've been here in Austin, we'll make sure that you want to do some follow-up communications with the legislators that you visited. There will be tips about that during the PD that you've done about how to make sure to build that relationship with a continuity of communications. And we'll also send you a survey to fill out about your experience with the ATPE-MAP program so that we can constantly be improving the program for you guys into the future.
Very cool. Well, this sounds really exciting, Monty. One thing that I want to mention as well is that our microcredential participants will be able to use the new launching soon ATPE online community to communicate with each other and with the ATPE lobby team. So that's going to be an exciting addition to this program and add a little bit of extra networking to this. Monty, I guess my last question is, when can we sign up for this?
So we are hard at work trying to get the first module pushed out, and we are anticipating that that first introductory module will be pushed out before the end of the month, hopefully by mid-October. So it should be any time now that you will see a communication coming out from Kate and her team to the entirety of the ATPE membership, inviting you to start working on that first introductory module.
Very cool. Well, we are super excited about this. It's definitely been in the works for quite a while, and we're very excited to roll it out to all of our members. So, Monty, thank you so much for joining me here today. And if anyone has any questions about the program, please reach out to Monty at government@atpe.org. Thanks so much, and we can't wait to call you member advocates.